And hello, how is everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Backstage in WWE, now found on Anchor. Yes, another platform for us to annoy everybody on iTunes, Anchor, and SoundCloud. Rate, review, and subscribe all over the place. You know, on Anchor, Brad, you can actually applaud people. There's no subscriptions. It's applause and favorites.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Right? It's new. Yeah, we decided to jump over to Anchor. Just free. It's free to anyone. And what's cool is you can record right on your phone, and it goes up in an instant. So, yeah, that's one more place that we can be located. It's Android and Apple. So we don't leave anybody out. Because what would the fun of that be? Wrestling, right? We got to talk about wrestling.
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of what this podcast is about.
All right. Well, let's get into some wrestling. You know what? Let's do a curveball this week. I like curveballs. I threw a mean curveball in high school until I threw my arm out. Then it wasn't so mean anymore. Let's start with something different. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Let's start with Dean. Your feud has to continue.
Oh, yeah. Right. It's 50-50 booking, so it's his turn to go over, I believe.
Not only that, but you guys might bump Sasha and Bayley to the pre-show at Mania. What? Okay, I think a rabbit and a tortoise could bump Sasha and Bayley to the pre-show. So, if we want to use that logic, Braun versus Baron Corbin. But, you see what I did there? Two slow, big guys? Anyway.
Yeah, those are actually, guys that people would pay to see.
Okay, all right. Okay. So, let's do it.
Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Brad, you want to do what? What? You want to put... I can't even say it. You want to put Baron Corbin in a tag team with Braun Strowman? What in the blue hell are you thinking about? First of all, they've got the two big guys tag team in the Bludgeon Brothers, okay? Second of all, why would you dim the star that is Braun Strowman by putting him with the Vanilla Giant? Why would you drag down what Braun Strowman is building by pairing him up with the Lone Wolf? These two characters have both been built on being loners, on being guys that will tear through people, on being guys that will beat anybody up. But the difference is Braun Strowman has a personality. Ooh. There's only one thing that can save Baron Corbin. He goes back to NXT. And hear me out on this, Brad, before you piss all over it. He goes down to NXT after WrestleMania. That's his gimmick. He's been demoted. He goes down there. He's been sent to the minors. You don't do that to Baron Corbin. And he just starts tearing through the roster. And then Triple H, and this is where an authority figure could come in handy, and if you use Regal, fine. But if you want to use Triple H, that's fine too. He's the one that's like, oh, well, you only beat, so-and-so. They're an NXT talent. You're not proving yourself. And every week, Baron Corbin sets out to prove himself. He can get the fans behind him. He can be that anti-hero that beats everybody up. He can have people actually give a damn about his character through something like that. And he's trying to get to the main roster, trying to get to the main roster, getting shot down. And then maybe NXT has a match like a fatal four-way where the two winners get to be in the Royal Rumble. And so he somehow wins that and he gets his shot at being in the Royal Rumble. And by that time, if you've built up enough of a strong character, maybe he wins it and goes on to WrestleMania next year. That's how you build the Baron Corbin character, not by trying to dim what he currently is with a rising star that is Braun Strowman.
Yeah, he's such a rising star that he's basically not really doing anything major for WrestleMania.
That and whose fault is that? Now, okay, I didn't listen to that before I played it. I don't hate what he said about Baron Corbin. You are the Baron Corbin mark that I know you are, and fully admit. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that one bit. What do you think about that? If they're not going to give him the time of day on the main roster, would that help anything?
Well, I hate it, but I think after you hear this, you may say, well, you know, you've got such a great idea. There's no way that you could not pull for my idea after hearing this. Just wait for it.
What are you getting at? Did you make that?
No, I wish I did. Actually, it was freaking Dennis on YouTube, but it was actually given to me by F4W Supersonic. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. It's a mixed match of their theme musics, and what a badass team they would make. And then, of course, it could lead to a breakup in a match. It's something to do. I mean, you know, they both could be in the title picture, but, you know, Vince sees Braun as more of like a Kane type of character. And, you know, Baron spoke out about CTE, so they've got to punish him.
So is that where they're going to – is that a scoop with Braun? What are we going to see with him at WrestleMania?
He's the backup plan right now. They're very nervous about the Richard Rodriguez deal. So they don't necessarily have anything concrete.
So here's the question: why? Well, they are. Roman's feuding with Paul Heyman and Brock right now. So why would that all of a sudden go away? We're talking about something that happened for 2 years ago, and might I add, they already suspended Roman for 30 days. What would the point be? He's not hiding anything. Well, maybe he might be, but it's you can't, you know, it's not like he did anything illegal. He took some steroids years ago.
Okay, but that's illegal.
But you're gonna really, I'm not defending him, but I don't see the point of taking him out of a couple Raws if you really have to, but not a WrestleMania main event, because he did this thing in 2015, 2016.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if he shoots up a gazillion steroids. You know, it doesn't matter to me, but it's a story, and they're a publicly traded company, and it'll be certainly a big deal if it gets enough mainstream attention. We'll just have to see.
I am interested to see what's going to happen whenever, because I really think it's inevitable about Fox taking over World Wrestling Entertainment's TV rights. What they do about steroids then, because that's the battle that Fox has right now with the UFC. There could be a lot of different, I wouldn't say rules, but guidelines that are a lot stricter. I mean, you see what happens in the UFC. If you screw up once, you're out for a year, at least. Look at John Jones. Granted, that was cocaine and he got arrested. But we're talking about, I mean, Brock. Brock did roids. What happened? He's suspended for a whole year. And that hurts Fox, because he could be used for a Fox show, a Fox Sports 1 show. You know, that's Fox's big brand outside of football.
Yeah, you know, if the story's big enough, it could potentially hurt TV negotiations. So, again, that all rests on John Bravo having evidence, which is a big if. We don't know. We know he's milking it, and we know...
What's the update on that, then?
Well, it was supposed to be released already days ago, and then he released an Instagram story basically saying, look, there's like 100,000 aliases here. There's a bunch of orders. There's a bunch of aliases. I got to go through it all, make sure the evidence is right before I present it. It's taking a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's delaying a lot, and well, I can certainly understand that. He's got to, you know, put up or shut up. People are, at this point, you know, getting annoyed with the story. And and not as interested. There's a time factor involved. So we'll see what happens. If it's true and he's able to present evidence, then the key factor will be if mainstream media picks it up and reports on it.
I don't want to. You have to fill me in on some knowledge. I wasn't privy to what happened in 2006. Was it 06 when the steroid scandal happened with Vince and Edge? Not just those two, but many others. What happened there, and what were the repercussions?
Well, they just, they basically tried to sweep it under the rug. I mean, here's the thing about it. WWE is only going to do something about it if they have no other choice. If it doesn't, that's why I say if it doesn't pick up enough mainstream media coverage, they're just going to, do nothing. So, for example, as more information has come out on the John Bravo story, I've asked them for comment. And besides the initial comment they gave me when the story first came out, they've ignored every other request for comment.
They denied it, right? At the very beginning?
Yeah. Well, Roman Reigns gave a very specific statement, which I actually thought was really stupid from a PR standpoint. But he even denied ever having any contact with Richard Rodriguez. So it was a very specific denial, which probably was a mistake, but he did. And then, they've ignored every request for comment after that. And they'll continue to do that. They're going to hope it goes away or doesn't receive a lot of coverage and they can move on.
We don't need another replay of what happened over a decade ago. That's something that they cannot and should not counter.
Look, the body, the look has always mattered in pro wrestling, and people can deny that if they would like to, but it's just true. And there's no better influence or indicator of that than the guys in charge of the company. Who's in charge? Okay, you've got, Shane McMahon looks like he's doing, have you seen him lately? His neck and his head, and he's huge. Yeah, it looks like the guy has, HGH in his breakfast cereal. You've got Triple H, who clearly is on something, whether it be HGH and or steroids. You just look at him and his age, and it's a no-brainer, Now,
and, Kurt Angle...
That's certainly my opinion. I don't have any direct knowledge of that. I haven't seen him doing that, but there is a certain thing called, the sniff test. And
Kurt
he's just
Angle
not
is clean. Kurt Angle's clean. I've seen him work out at LA Fitness, more towards the airport in Pittsburgh. Works out every day that he's home. So he's the one person that I will back up. I have sources to prove that.
Well, and you see Vince McMahon and how he's looked at a very old age. It's obvious you don't look like that, especially at that age, unless you've got an alternative method. Now, maybe it's doctor prescribed, maybe it isn't. I'm not here to debate that, but it's obvious. And so my point is, when you've got it coming from the top, that's kind of like the okay for the behavior.
Monkey see, monkey do, boss.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, we've got the drug test, but wink, wink, wink. And then there was the Triple H's trainer?
Yeah.
Who said, oh, yeah, there's like a lot of guys. Everyone's on HGH. You look at John Cena. He has a lot of the signs of a classic long-term HGH user. Again, that's just my opinion, my assessment, without having any direct facts. But I just look at his features and his face and his hands, and the signs are there. So, he looks like a human cartoon.
Yeah, with those veins in his arms. I'm not one to judge, but damn.
And again, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me in the least. I'm just pointing out what I've observed.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. I'm with you 1,000 times out of 1,000. All right, and just circling back full circle. Braun and Elias this week during the Symphony of Destruction. What's your take on that? I would give that like a 5 out of 10. I liked the creativity that they showed, and Elias stole the beginning with him, the piano and the drums. I thought he was tremendous. But then, I don't know, man. It just, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Yeah, it's weird because I do think they've done some things with Braun that I didn't really care for from a character standpoint. You know, like he's really getting pushed as a monster, and he's doing all, you know, like this Christmas elf stuff and some things like. I don't really care for that. It's not the hugest deal in the world, but you know, the complaint of, oh well, you know, he's got a huge guitar, he's out there singing and doing music, and that's terrible. He's, you know, supposed to be this badass. I don't think any of those people watched the Attitude Era. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin also did that. He played the guitar and sung.
Wore a cowboy hat.
Acted goofy. Not all the time. He was still a badass. It's, you know, it's in moderation, but so I'm totally fine with that. You know, I just the part that's puzzling to me is they have this. You know, they have this idea that the people who start getting over more than they're supposed to, they get used to put other people over that they want to get over.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's, you know, so what we see is like Elias is working with Braun, and Elias is over, and he's a great character. And they don't really care. They're just going to use him to make Braun look strong. And then we see that on the SmackDown side as well with Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. And Rusev is so over right now.
He is.
He's going to have a match with Nakamura.
Was he on
so they
SmackDown?
can use that heat to put Nakamura over and keep him strong going into Mania.
Was he on SmackDown?
They're not going to do anything substantial with Rusev, so that's just what they do.
Yeah. Like, so how in the last 2 months, how many times has he been live on Tuesday nights in a match?
And not much at all. I mean, and we'll get to it, I suppose, but it's just been a real terrible build.
Hey, man, it was just like Wade Barrett, and he said it in an interview. It was him. He got over on his own, and Vince didn't like it, so he just put the kibosh on all of it. And I think that's happening with Elias too. What's Elias doing? He is one of the most, and I don't mean the bitch, I really don't. He is top 5 overall performer, entertainer, wrestler in the company. And what is he doing at WrestleMania? He doesn't even have a freaking match. And then they're going to go and give Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, who should just have this ultimate deletion on a Raw.
Oh, they might.
Give them a WrestleMania, still, and give them a WrestleMania match.
But there's plenty of people, to your point. Yeah, there's plenty of people that he should be in the card over. Because he's arguably the best character on WWE TV. So, you know, people want to see him.
He's Sandow. He is Damian Sandow. Loads of talent. Got over organically with the fans. And that's it. Oh, I wonder sometimes. Now, let's get into Hardy and Vanguard 1. They teased it. It seems that they actually bought the video from Impact Wrestling to air it because it was there.
No,
you don't think so?
No, they didn't. No.
So they filmed that extra.
Yeah, Rebby Hardy actually cleared that up. She filmed that like last week.
Okay, well that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So that, and they're actually going to do it. I'm shocked.
Yeah, they're going to do it. And it's like, you know, it's fine. Like we talked about, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's been terrible, but it's, you know, whatever. Hopefully they can just move on. But, I guess some of this kind of hinges on Jeff Hardy, I guess, with what the Hardys do. But
now the latest update to that, if I'm not mistaken, was that he was cleared. And this is per Pro Wrestling Sheet. I'll give Ryan Satin the credit. They have learned that Jeff Hardy is is ready to return. He got the green light from his surgeon in Cameron. Actually, no.
WWE's got to clear him.
That's the last part.
Yeah, he hasn't been cleared by WWE yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very possible he will be, though, by WrestleMania. So we'll see.
It was really,
just kind of,
yeah.
So we'll see. But so they may just end up doing the thing on Raw and then moving on. But it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, who really cares? It's not going to knock your socks off.
No, unless they give her and Borash full creative control, which they won't. They just won't. Oh well, we digress. The women, Sasha and Bailey, that tease is still happening. It's that carrot dangling on a string, and then you have the other dynamic duo with Nia and Alexa Bliss, with Alexa completely burying Nia in the back. But then, Jack's doing good as an actress, actually crying, which I think they were real tears because Alexa really buried her a lot. Saying that she was always bigger than the other girls, and people would stare at her in airports, and just putting her the F down. And you just couldn't help feel bad for Nia Jax, which face turn for those that did not know.
Yeah, but why is she a monster heel then?
She's not. She's not.
She's a monster baby.
Monstrous among women. Hey.
I don't get it. I mean, the way they present her is just terrible.
And she's gotten better, right?
Yeah, she's got a long way to go, but yeah. You
got to give her credit where it's due. She's gotten better. I'm impressed.
I wouldn't say I'm impressed, but she's gotten better.
To where she was in NXT, at least she's trying.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like she's trying. Well, I don't know. The Sasha Bailey thing, that's pre-show material. At least that's what it looks like right now. And I don't think that's going to change.
I think that's a good spot for it.
You don't want to see that? Iron Woman match at Mania? 6 minutes? Come on.
It's fine. Whatever.
Everything's just fine with you. Let's get to something that was a little bit better than fine, can we? The Miz. Please enlighten me with how much you loved that segment.
Oh gosh, this was, probably it really was probably the segment of the entire show. He is just phenomenal.
He is.
It's just, if that guy isn't in the main event again, like if he doesn't have another main event run, then I think it's just a tragedy.
I don't think he's going to. He's so good and reliable at the mid as the upper mid card champion, and I think Vince relies him he relies on him for that. He carries that mid card division. Yeah,
I mean he's got an okay build. He's not a big guy, but he's not small either by any means. And, he's got a lot of charisma. He's fantastic on the microphone. He can put on decent matches. He can do all of the morning shows and crosses over into mainstream.
And he doesn't bitch about it.
A lot of the boxes, but there's a guy that should be in the main event, period. He should be a heel in the main event picture. And because he's so good, it's almost to his detriment that he's just the upper mid-card type of guy they can always rely on to hold things steady, I guess, but, not getting that big opportunity again.
I always saw him and Ziggler as those types of guys since the beginning. I don't know if it's going to change either. I don't think that Vince relies on Dolph to do exactly what he wants, and he does it very, very well. I just think it's a downward spiral for not spiral. I should say it will never trend upward for either of them. But I hope it does. I mean, yeah, the Miz I'm sure you loved him putting down Finn Balor. I know you love that.
Yeah, is that airplane I'm hearing? Is that Finn Balor's career going down?
You mean when he wins the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania?
How did you like Miz's? I mean, it was a total Vince.
It was a shoot.
Oh gosh, and he just buried Finn Balor, and it came right from Vince.
You really think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was great. Miz delivered it, like a champ, and it was like you just sit there looking at Finn Balor, and you're like, "Damn."
Yeah. What was the line? You don't think you can get yourself over? It's going to take a lot more than just a hand sign that you stole from somebody else.
Like even I was feeling bad for him, and I'm watching, and he's trying to like smile through it, and then it got to the end, and he's he quickly lost that smile, and you could tell he was
I'm sure he was pissed. Yeah. Actually pissed.
Of course. But that's what those are the kind of things they do, which really is kind of shitty, but that's what they do.
Hey, whatever. I would say that Miz stole Raw once again, but I gotta give it to Paul Heyman. That promo he cut was absolutely brilliant. From start to finish, everything he said, I was speechless watching it. It left me in awe because he can do it without even trying, and he sold me on it. And Roman didn't even do that poorly. I thought he came out and did well again for the second week in a row. Which is Paul Heyman. Paul, he's the man.
Yeah, it was fine. I think they're doing a pretty good job overall at this.
Is it safe?
It's just one of those things where we know the outcome and just kind of is what it is. But they've done a good job with what they're working with.
Is it safe to say now that Brock not showing up was a complete setup?
No, that's totally false. It absolutely was not a complete setup.
So what was the original segment going to be then?
The original segment was going to be Brock and Roman going back and forth in a promo segment. And, like I said last week, obviously, Brock is playing hardball like he did a few years ago, and he's being difficult, and some things happen. They decided to go with it and make it work for Roman in a work shoot scenario, and it worked. But the entire thing was not a work. Anybody who thinks that is absolutely clueless as to the situation.
So to me, that would be something that I think Brock and Vince would come up with together. I understand that Brock isn't happy with his contract. I don't think he'll ever be freaking happy with his contract. However, I do think maybe it's me like looking at like a glass half full situation. I would hope that they had the creativity to come up with that. Maybe I'm wrong.
They did after he was being difficult.
Yeah.
That's just what happened. I mean, it was very clear to me based on the person in WWE that I spoke to. So it was not all a work. Certainly, it's a work shoot now. They're doing a nice job with it. But that wasn't the plan.
Okay. Well, I still give them credit. I can't ignore it. And I think the best person to help move it along is Paul Heyman. The guy can build a feud with his eyes closed. I was gonna say like with no pants on, but I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I definitely do not want to see that. The guy probably hasn't seen his dick in 20 years.
Oh my god! This is a PG show.
Oh, you better believe that then.
No, I don't want to take the time to do that. I will have to change on Anchor it from a clean to a dirty podcast. Isn't that funny? I'm a dirty podcaster. All right. Let's get into SmackDown. From what I hear, they literally gave away the main event of Fastlane, so almost without Cena. So why would I watch Fastlane now if I just could have watched SmackDown, right?
Yeah, man, I just don't get this show. It's so bad.
ROA double G dog.
And I'm not joking when I say a lot of WWE fans could do the same job or better as to what's being currently presented, and I truly do believe that. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's not even defensible anymore. It's like, okay, we've got, Orton and Jinder, and Jinder beats Orton. And that's going to end up being a three-way eventually.
Orton, Jinder, and who?
And Rude.
For the title?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll probably be your Mania match.
No. For a Mania match?
Well, yeah, you've got to drag that out another, several weeks.
A month from now. A month from today. A month from today. Actually, it's April 8th.
Can't wait for that. Then you had Becky Lynch defeat Carmella because they've thrown together a women's tag team match for the pay-per-view that, has no story behind it whatsoever. And then you've got Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles ending in a no contest when Zayn and Owens interfere, which leads to the good old-fashioned impromptu fatal five-way, the exact same match you'll see on Sunday, minus John Cena. I just don't get it. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, is he off the wagon or something? And this is what they come up with? I don't get it. I mean, I don't know how you... Like, if you put ideas on a dartboard and play darts, then I could understand coming up with something this shitty. Otherwise, I don't really understand it.
It's so bad. Has he tweeted anything recently? I should just tweet him now. It says your booking is worse than my. I was gonna say like my friend that has a baby, but that's not funny. So was Ruby Riott on the show? I'm just looking at Road Dogg's Twitter. All he does is promote SmackDown. Ruby Riott, was she on the show? Charlotte, the other bad girls?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Is she so boring? I mean, but she's got a match.
Yeah.
She's got a match against Charlotte at Fastlane. We might as well talk about Fastlane because, SmackDown is just, I mean, like nothing happened on the show other than giving away the main event.
Should I tweet at him and say, you know how every morning he says, like, today I pray that whatever?
Yeah, you should tweet, today I pray that Road Dogg's booking gets better on SmackDown Live. I would love to see that reaction.
I don't want him to block me.
Why? Who cares?
I don't like making enemies, man. It's not my gimmick. That's your gimmick. Maybe I should. No, maybe next time I'm having a few beers. Okay. Fastlane. We'll look at the card.
Okay, we got the Usos versus the New Day.
The winner of the prediction show gets a pat on the back. So who are we starting with first?
Well, Usos and New Day, and we've seen this. Yeah, we've seen this match 100 times, and it's always a great match.
It is. I think it'll be a great match again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's really no story here. It's just two teams that are going to have a great match.
I'm okay with that.
I want to see the story, but they're going to have a great match. It is what it is. So that'll be fine. That'll probably be the best match on the card. Yeah, if not, maybe second best.
Who do you have winning? I have the Usos.
I have no idea.
Oh, cool! I win that match. Are they gonna?
I would think. Okay, I would think the Usos.
Here's the question though: who beats? Who do the Bludgeon Brothers beat for the title?
It doesn't really matter because it's probably going to end up being a 3-team deal with the Bludgeon Brothers and Usos and New Day or something.
Not just 3 teams. It'll be a quintuple threat tag team match for the title on SmackDown, and then they'll do it at Mania the next week. So it's going to be, yeah. It'll be a 5 tag team man team match on the SmackDown before Mania, and then they're going to add another team at Mania to make it bigger.
Yeah, maybe add 6 teams. Let's see. In fact, let's see how many tag teams we can get standing around the ring before they run out of space. I think that would be a good idea. Okay.
All right. We can do that.
Road dog in a kennel match. And what that means is when you pin your opponent, the other person on the team is still left, and that means you get to use Road Dogg as a weapon. So he can come out of the kennel and attack and help your team.
He's literally a dog.
He's literally a dog. Oh, you didn't know.
He's as smart as a dog. Maybe not. Okay, so we have the good girls versus the bad girls. Did you know that Carmella has the Money in the Bank briefcase?
I do, and I'm gonna give a little update on that in a few minutes.
Oh, all right. Who's winning that match? Red hair versus red tights versus the kitty woman and the Money in the Bank holder.
I think Becky Lynch and Naomi.
I agree. All right. The Royal Rumble winner Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. Nakamura by a landslide.
Yeah.
What if Nakamura or Rusev goes into business for himself and fights Nakamura and pins him?
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
Rusev would be the new #1 contender.
Vince would probably love it.
I'm sure he would. He's like, that's my boy. Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. Bobby Roode wins, of course, because Mullet Randy can't. No, not going to happen. Jinder's going to interfere somehow.
Who knows? Maybe Jinder interferes. He costs Roode or Orton the match. I mean, it doesn't really matter because it's going to end up, I think, being a triple threat at Mania. So that's whatever.
Yeah. Okay, we got Charlotte versus Ruby Riott, 2 T's. I got Charlotte with her eyes closed.
Yeah, obviously.
All right, and then we have the 6-pack challenge that we already saw. Sami Zayn won that one. Shouldn't Sami Zayn win the title because he won the 5-man? Right? He pinned Owens. Why is Owens still in the match?
Oh, because wins and losses don't matter.
They don't.
Yeah.
All right. Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, John Cena, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler. I have AJ.
Yeah, AJ, no doubt.
Yeah. Hey, lose one. Well, if he would have won, I would have picked him to lose. That being said. Well, man.
So before I get to a couple of items, I'm gonna give you this idea. Okay, this is an idea, and it's from the same gentleman that I got before, F4W Supersonic. So I'm gonna present this idea. You're gonna love it.
Oh no,
you're gonna love it.
Oh no, is it another? If it has something to do with Baron Corbin, I am done.
This Monday in Detroit, Big Show returns and goes heel on Braun Strowman.
Stop it.
Bitter about the cage match activity 6 months ago. But to nobody's surprise, Big Show gets help from his old partner Kane, and they leave with the last laugh. It's a major moment for Big Show as it serves as his last ever appearance as an active pro wrestler in the same city that saw him debut to become world champion. Now, Strowman, in an interview moments later, challenges Kane and Big Show to save him at WrestleMania, even if it means he doesn't have a partner. After Fastlane, Corbin seems directionless, having no WrestleMania match after Indianapolis on Tuesday, but he receives news that due to Asuka joining SmackDown's roster, he's been traded to Raw. So Corbin steps up to help Strowman in Dallas and cements his face turn by saying that although he's a lone wolf at heart, we're all tired of Kane and the Big Show. Their time is coming at WrestleMania. Me and Braun will put these grating dinosaurs into retirement, just as that should have happened 5 years ago. Now, Strowman and Corbin win a very physical match that goes 5 minutes, leaving Kane and the Big Show in the ring. Vince arrives at the entrance ramp and says he has 2 words for Kane and the Big Show, but first directs everyone's attention to the Titantron. Yes, for several minutes, a tribute to the careers of Kane and the Big Show airs, set to Moby's God Moving Over the Face of the Waters, which is known for the closing moment of the 1995 film Heat. Numerous colleagues from the past quarter century put over the 2 legendary giants. These are highlighted by Daniel Bryan saying that all of the tag team partners he's had in his career, none impacted his life as much as Kane. And Ric Flair repeating his view that Big Show is the greatest big man performer in the history of the business. The video concludes, Vince puts over an unparalleled durability and team-first attitude of Kane and the Big Show and simply ends with the 2 special words of thank you. The commentators give Kane and Big Show a standing ovation, as does the crowd most likely, who also might break into a Kane and Big Show chant, although not likely. In the aftermath, Corbin and Strowman become known as the Wolves Among Men and are compared to the Outsiders minus the comedic elements. They're a destructive force and have an epic juggernaut reign as tag champs before eventually splitting and having their one-on-one collision sometime in 2019. What do you think about that?
I hate all of it. I hate all of it. I really do. It's really bad. It's really bad. I'm sorry to rain on your parade, but it is very bad. I don't know how else to. I'm sorry. I really am. I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah.
Sorry about
that. Okay. So, wrestling news journalist alert.
Oh. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh. So, Lucha Underground sent a cease and desist letter to Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet.
Wait, who did? I'm sorry. Repeat
Lucha
that.
Underground.
Oh, for spoilers?
Yes.
I did see this. Now, was he like spoiling things?
Yeah, well, okay, so he's getting the information from someone obviously who's aware of the results, whether it's a fan in attendance or someone else.
Yeah.
And he's posting it, and so this was probably like a tactic to get them not to do that. It's a very interesting conversation actually, because on one hand I understand, like for example, the NXT spoilers are put out all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things Lucha Underground prides itself on is not really being a wrestling show, but a TV show which happens to be about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's treated more like a television production than just a wrestling show.
Which is what keeps it unique.
Mm-hmm. And so if you look at your average television show, you go to primetime and any of those shows, all of those people involved in the show, and obviously the episodes are taped in advance, they all have to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they're not allowed to talk about the episodes and what happens. That's a very interesting point.
Yeah, that's all wrestling too. So
don't
spoil it.
Yeah. So where is the line? I don't know. Is it, but it's interesting. So we'll see what happens. But actually, I was told that Ryan Satin has heat in WWE. Interestingly enough, I was told this like right as the news was coming out about Lucha Underground. You know, I was told he's got heat in WWE, which is funny. He's got heat everywhere. So I hope he's got air conditioning.
Ooh.
And so the other journalist, Nick Hausman,
Who's he with?
editor of WrestleZone.
Oh, yeah, I know them. They're nice guys.
Well, I guess that depends on who you talk to.
Okay.
Yeah, so so Ben Hameen eviscerated him on a recent podcast, and Ben is part of the Russo brand family. He's an independent wrestler, and said that Hausman had turned into a complete social justice warrior to the point where it ruined his relationships and is the reason he was no longer doing the podcast with Bret Hart and the podcast with Eric Bischoff. And also, Hameen said that he used to contribute to WrestleZone, but that stopped after Hausman treated him poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And he told him, you know, promptly to get fucked, basically.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, it was very interesting. So a bad week for those guys, but, you know, what can you say? Yeah.
Watch what you say. That's all I will say. Watch what you say. And it could really get you in a bad spot. You know, that's the thing about wrestling journalism, man. People just, they're babies. They're big babies. And one false move, and you're gone. You're done.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. If you have more scoops, drop them. I want ice cream now, but that's another story. Speaking of scoops, 2 of them, preferably.
Well, apparently, Dave Meltzer's latest report was essentially confirming a lot of stuff everybody has known and I've talked about for weeks, with the exception of Sammy and Kevin, both potentially being in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
So Carmella, I'm told, could very well cash in her Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and lose.
And why? It'd be the first.
Well, apparently, from what I've heard, she's okay with it. Like, she's down to do it.
What?
I mean, she basically knows Asuka's going to be champ. She doesn't have a chance, you know, of winning the championship from her. So it's kind of like, you might as well make the most of losing. So why not WrestleMania? So that's something to watch out for.
It's the first ever women's Money in the Bank briefcase, and she's going to lose. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's great.
And one more thing. As we know, every year Shane McMahon has a WrestleMania match. So, what is he going to do? Do you know?
No.
Hasn't been reported. There's been no real direction other than we've seen the main story with him and Daniel Bryan and then Kevin and Sammy. Well, interestingly enough, and I guess we'll start knowing, I would assume Fastlane or shortly thereafter, we'll start to figure that out. But it looks like plans have recently changed, and now Shane McMahon's match, it sounds like his opponent is going to be Dolph Ziggler.
Oh. That's new.
Yeah. Yeah. So from what I've been told, that's what they're looking to do. It's almost like, I almost like didn't believe it at first. But yeah, I mean, Shane's got to have his match, and Dolph has never had a singles match at WrestleMania. It'll be a good match. It's fine. It's like, not anything I'm dying to see, but so that'll be something to watch for. If they do go through with that, then yeah, we should start seeing that to build soon.
All right, one more thing, and I have a scoop to drop, by the way.
Okay.
There's the first time you sound surprised. I work in the news for a living,
Well, you're not exactly Baskin Robbins.
I have enough scoops. Thank you very much. 18 different flavors. Before that, is it true that Strowman, Sammy, and Kevin could all have? You may have touched it. I may not have been paying attention. That Strowman, Sammy, and Kevin would not have. They would be in non-wrestling roles at WrestleMania. What would that entail exactly? Backstages?
So there's a possibility for that with Sheamus and Cesaro.
I'm sorry, the bar, not Sammy, the bar and Brock. Yeah.
Yeah. It just depends on what they decide to do with the bar, whether it's the Hardys or if it's a new tag team.
Yeah.
Which is maybe the most likely option. So I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll be night after WrestleMania or something. They'll debut a new tag team and win. But I don't know. I don't know what they would do.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, I mean, they're just, they've got so many guys off the show right now that, I mean, what can you really say? You look at the card and so many of their more prominent names are not even on the show. They don't even have, matches. I mean, here we are, a month away. And this card has just been, they've done a terrible job of building to WrestleMania. So
don't be surprised. Well, you got Roman and Brock, so that'll be that. All right. So I put this on Twitter, and I'm just going to say it again. What Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter so lazily reported, because I don't like when reporting is lazy. That
boy, are you? If you're talking about I'm just going to warn you. The Meltzer fanboys are going to be all over your Twitter when they hear this because
I don't care.
They don't like. I'm just saying they don't like you, but they're going to follow everything you do, every minute of the day, and every tweet you
That's
do.
Fine. That's fine.
I'm letting you know what you're opening. That's Pandora's box. It's okay.
So last week, Dave Meltzer reported that CM Punk, aka Phil Brooks in the human world, and Colt Cabana, real name is irrelevant right now, versus Chris Heyman. It's funny because it's not just him. He's being classified. It's just Philip Brooks versus World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. It's not Punk versus Chris Heyman. It's man versus company. It's a civil case, and it was supposed to be dealt with out of court because all Punk did was call him a really shitty doctor. At the end of the day, he didn't do anything illegal. He may have done something stupid if Punk's telling the truth, but whatever. It's slander, and it's a really stupid lawsuit. But that's beside the point. Meltzer reported that, I don't have the full quote in front of me, but he said that it was supposed to be dealt with out of court, which is true, but it's not going to be. And it will be dealt with in court very soon. So let me ask you a question. The words very soon, I'll even say the word soon. What do you think that means? Is that like a week or is that like 3 months? Because if we're just talking that lazy vernacular, what are we actually talking about? What do you classify soon as?
I have no idea.
The word soon, in or after a short time. I would say a short time. I'll even give it 2 weeks. Okay. So 2 weeks as of Monday. It was if you listen to this Friday, it's 4 days ago. He said that that case was going back to court soon. So, because I'm always on court dockets for my job, those who don't know, I'm an assignment editor at Pittsburgh's NBC affiliate. I do that all the time. Probably 3 hours a day, cumulatively. And I was like, you know what? That's funny. I was curious. I really wanted to see I wanted to read the affidavit, the court docket, so I did. And the last piece of activity in court, according to the Connecticut court dockets, was October 10th, 2017. And that was a request for argument and for a non-arguable civil short calendar matter. Very minor, right? Really didn't do much.
Right.
And it was for court use only at that time. There has been nothing done since then. There is nothing scheduled. Now, I don't care if Meltzer got a scoop. Here's the thing. For a court case that is not a sentencing, it's always posted. It must be in the court calendar. And the court calendar only goes for a 15-day period. And there's nothing scheduled. That was on Monday. So I looked at the schedule starting on, let's see, the 9th would be 4 days. So the 5th up until until March 20th. There is no dates. Meltzer's wrong. There is no court case coming up soon. If there's anything that's going to happen, I will give all of you the Connecticut court docket website. You can follow along yourself. And so you can actually see when his summons was given. It was July 25th on his wedding day. And that's a shoot, brother. You can look at the criminal complaint, civil complaint, really. You can look at the affidavit, which explains what the fuck Punk did. You can read all of that. So here's my advice. If you want to look up anything court-related with World Wrestling Entertainment, don't listen to a guy that just creates news and hopes it comes true. Go to the website. That just bothered the hell out of me, and I had to do it. So come to me when you want to know, or just look it up yourself. That's all you have to do. And it's not like Punk shot and killed Chris Heyman. He called him a shitty doctor. It should be dealt with out of court, but maybe it won't be, which is fine. You can find out when. That's all. That's all I got.
Well, I believe you just castrated Dave Meltzer.
That wasn't my purpose. He's clearly a nice guy, and he does it just to support a family. I respect that, but get it right. That's all I'm saying.
Would you say that reading would be his friend?
Maybe. Sure. Let's go with that. All right. I think I'm going to get ice cream. So where can everyone find you on social media place?
At the Brad Shepard on Twitter, SHEPARD, for all death threats and tips. And also thebradshepard.com, a repository of my journalistic work. And nocoastbias.com. I have my first article out now about the NFL Combine, and I think it's pretty good based on the results of the Combine and who I said to watch out for. So that's about it. I think that is everything.
All right. You can follow me at John Fisher TV on Twitter and Wrestling News Hub and Thoughts from the Bench on Facebook. I review Raw weekly on there in video form. So check it out. Before I go, I would like your thoughts on where you think, this is non-wrestling related, where you think Saquon Barkley will go in the draft, because my girlfriend is a diehard Penn State fan, and it's bothering her to death because she doesn't want her to become a Cleveland Brown, and neither do I. Because I have to buy her a jersey. I don't want to buy her a Browns jersey. That'd be bad.
Oh, those are ugly jerseys anyway.
They are ugly jerseys.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. That's a good question. I mean, I think he's going to go high.
I'd say the Colts. The Colts at number 3.
I mean, I don't think he's going to go at number 1. But he'll definitely be in the top 10.
Top 5. I'd say top 5. The Giants and
top 5.
Need a running back.
Probably top 5. I would say definitely top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we go? We got to go. We got to leave.
A flock of crows is known as a murder.
Is that a Sting reference?
No, it's actually not. His career ended thanks to Seth Rollins. So.
Oh boy. All right. That's it. We'll see y'all next week. Enjoy yourselves.